What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Sheltered, where she is apparently welding herself some cans of food. We need to find some food. That's going to be the next part that I'm a little bit worried about. If we can't get that locked down pretty soon, it looks like we're going through rations pretty rapidly. I could get past that by just sort of like holding off on repairing stuff for now. Everything in our base is basically at 100%, so I may send out Dad number 2 at some point and see if he can maybe lock some stuff down by doing the northern route, running around and trying to see if we can grab some more food, because the last time we went we got like 9 or 10 cans out of it. I mean, it was really good for us last time. I think the loot, I don't know if the loot like recirculates every week or how exactly that works, but we're almost to our 3rd week right now and things are pretty much running perfectly. I mean, there's not a whole lot of things for us to deal with. We haven't suffered a ton of attrition, so life feels pretty good. Mecha Scooch looks like he's probably going to need to be fed in a little bit, but what are you doing right now? Oh, really? There was nothing down there? Oh, shit. That's really bad. We didn't find anything but the reservoir, huh? Jesus. Okay, well, I mean, that's why I sent him out now, rather than when I was desperate and hoping not to die. You send people out when you've got extra supplies, not when you're already low and trying to desperately grab something else. So I guess that's perfectly fine. I mean, not finding anything is definitely inferior to finding something, but I can live with it for right now. I think our next trip will be a very similar, I call this the Buttcheek maneuver right there, or maybe like the inverted, I don't know, the vertical Pac-Man. Either way, we'll probably do the same thing in this direction at some point to see if we can find anything over there, but disappointing. Hopefully he uncovers, I mean, just 1 or 2 locations would have been satisfactory. All we found was that reservoir, though. It is close to the house, though. That's a good thing. I think it's a lot closer than this one right here. So if we end up needing to get water, we can do a reservoir run. They're in opposite directions. I would hope that the reservoirs would all be like in a similar location, but not going to complain about a good thing, obviously. Got ourselves a little bit of cleaning to get taken care of. Everybody else, though, is looking pretty happy. Is she still cleaning? Okay. Water supply is holding out at 52 right now. I think we just need to sort of let things happen as they happen. I think speeding up the game would not be a terrible idea. Looks like he made it back home. Alright then, kind of a waste of a gas mask, unfortunately. He brought back water with him. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into the tank. A couple gallons of water. It actually looks like those are little liter bottles, even half-liter bottles, depending on the size. We could use some plastics, and we could use a couple other things, but no, I don't want to cancel. I just was saying that I'm done. Other things that we need to take care of. Let's go ahead and get him fed. After that, we're going to throw him in the shower for a little bit because he brought back water with him, so he earned it. She needs to drink some water real fast. Just got done cleaning up all the trash and random stuff laying around on the floor. Mecha Scooch needs some food, so we'll go ahead and fill that on up. This dad right here, I think we would be well served to send out, maybe I'll send out the children. I don't think they've ever gone on a, no, not you. That is not what I desire. I wanted the little girl in white to use the toilet. There you go. Now you got it. And then we also need to line somebody up on a second. We'll get rid of that right there. He needs to take a nap for a little while, and I think that's going to be perfectly fine. I'm hoping this guy's a trader. You want to trade with me? You want to come down in here and see what you can see? Yeah, I think he's a trader. Either that or he's going to come by and beg to be let in, and we're going to be like, nah, I ain't down with that. Sorry, my altruism done run out. Hey, I'm passing through the area, and I wanted to know if you had anything for trade. Oh, yeah, I do. Totally. Damn, son, you got all kinds of good shit going on. And it's for cheapsies. Alright, so we want, like, everything we can take from this guy, because he's got all kinds of good stuff on him. We can only trade 5. Okay, well, let's start with the essentials here. We definitely need the nylon. So let's take that. That's enough supplies right there to really sort of just, like, can we trade multiple times with him? I might get rid of the wood then, if we can't trade multiple times, and I might take the bullets instead. So that's 163 that we're trading away with this guy. We got a couple of handguns. That's going to give us 300. That one gives us 500. Well, damn. We didn't get any plastics, though, or anything, which kind of makes me worried. That's going to be not enough. Cordite. Oh, that's magnesium. Why do I have so much magnesium right now? What does that trade for? 24. I'm trying to take a look at my home arts and crafts to just kind of like see what we can do with this stuff. The food would have been nice too. I was hoping he had a food trader, but like I'm going a little bit overboard right now. I don't want to overtrade this guy, and unfortunately only the stuff that we have is like really, really, really valuable. And so we want to get as much mileage out of it as we can. So let's start little here. Let's trade little. And if we don't get the bullets, we don't get the bullets. Not that big of a deal. I'm not going to cry about it. There are axes and like crowbars and things like that everywhere. We have so many guns. I'd rather wait to trade the guns until we have a guy who has like all expensive stuff. For right now, that's just, it's a huge waste. It's a waste of value. I don't use circuit breakers very often, so I'd be okay with letting some of those go. I'd be alright with letting some charcoal go too. And in fact, if I could even that out with charcoal now, we've got plenty of fuel. I don't think we're going to run out anytime soon. If I can move some of that around, that sounds really, really nice to me. And then we just even it out with water, and there you go. Problem solved. And so there it is. I think that's all he's going to take right there. He should bail out after this. Yeah, he's going to leave. So we got ourselves a new journal entry. You don't have to worry about it, really. It's the same thing that you've already read before. So once you've read the journal once, I wouldn't worry about it after that point. More rain coming in too, right on time, which means this would be the time that I would say we should probably set out an expedition. I take a shower real quick while we wait. He needs to catch some Z's pretty soon. Now that water storage is at max capacity, jump her out. And what I want to do is if we set up an expedition with the kids... Are they good at finding stuff, though? Oh, they only have one perception. Might not be the best plan, then. So if I go back with her, how good is her perception? See, that's a little bit poor, too. I guess we could send out the dads right now. Or, like, send out Fabian and maybe Laura. Might work out okay, but we need to scavenge again. And unfortunately, our water supply is not doing it. Now this time around, we got... Oh, I have 4 gas masks? I thought I only had 3 or 2 left. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Can you rob people in this game? I may go out and, like, rob people. If we got, like, guns and stuff, it seems like a suitable idea to just, like, pop people if they get in the way and just take their stuff because it'll make your life easier. Go ahead and equip that right there. Not going to bring melee weapons along instead. I'm going to bring the shoot gun and a couple of rounds of ammo just to let people, you know, put them on notice. And also, this gives us something that we can... It gives us something we can trade with if we get out there and we really need to make something happen. So take some bullets right there. Equip a gas mask, and I think that's perfectly fine. We don't have the leather that's required right now. Well, we do actually have the nylon, so I could have made another backpack, but... haven't done it yet. I'm trying to play this a little close to the chest at the moment. Hopefully they bring back something useful. I can't guarantee that they will or won't, but water has been really, really good in this playthrough. So I'm thinking that if we can just make this happen, like this run right here though has to be a good one. We got to get plastics. We got to get a bunch of stuff. Otherwise we ain't going to make it. This might be a short trip for us. Have to rely on the mercy of the traders after that point. Dad's in the back taking a sleep right now. There's a dog shit on the floor down there. That kind of sucks, but what can you do about it? Our water filter's looking good. If we wanted to upgrade, we need more leather. That'll make it more efficient, make it grab a little bit more water. Go with decon, okay. First transmission. They found a small house. Hopefully there's no people inside of it, because I would really, really, really like to get ourselves stocked. And also, hopefully, it has recycled the loot. It did. Okay, so it recycled the loot. We need plastics very, very badly. We could use some cans. We could use some concrete. I'm actually probably just going to take everything for right now because we have the space for it, and I can fiddle with it later. I like this game a lot. There's a number of things that I like about this game, but I really sort of think that, like, some people have compared this game to This War of Mine, and I think that while the games are similar, they are distinct. This game is much more about resource management and just kind of like building your house. It's a lot more simmy. Whereas This War of Mine is a lot more about the emergent storyline. And if they added a bunch of storyline to this game, I actually think it would make the games even more similar, which might be a bad thing. Instead, if I was developing this game, I would probably try and focus on just making like the building aspect and the dealing with strangers and kind of working on vehicles aspect as deep and as rewarding as possible in order to sort of like differentiate it, because This War of Mine is a hard game to beat on its own territory. The narrative of that game is absolutely fantastic. The little storylines that develop behind each character, like Boris and, you know, some of the others where different characters have different motivations, and they go through different metamorphoses throughout the course of the game. Like, some players decay, whereas some people get fixed. For example, Boris starts out broken mentally and just gets more and more fixed as the group that he's living with becomes his family. And then you've got other characters who just, like, I think Bruno is the name of the guy that cooks, right? He falls apart during the entire thing. He just gets worse and worse and worse as you go along. But I really enjoyed this War of Mine. It was one of those games that was really, really memorable. I can see myself remembering it, 10, 15 years from now, just based on how memorable it was. It was one of those gameplay experiences. Also due to the fact that the game, I think, was based on real life. Like, this was a thing that happened in a foreign nation, and people had to go through that for a while. And it's just crazy to think that people had to live in that environment for an extended amount of time and just, like, make do, even though their families and their lives were completely torn apart and destroyed. That's a wild thing to think about, that people still had the strength to continue on just because of the people around them, or, the things that they knew they had to get done before they could give up. Crazy thing, human spirit. Very crazy thing. Jesus. So, cans of food, the nails, there's water here. Unfortunately, it's still bugged on that side. I would say that bringing back, so let's get rid of these right now. We don't need these at all. We also don't really need more axes. Not that useful. There were 30, so they can be nice as like a filler. Hey, we have stacks of that. Good. Bring that along. Another rifle round right there. We got 3 slots, so we got a tire. I would bring the leather. I would also consider... God, there's too many items here right now. Unfortunately, we can't even see what they are. I would bring the tires, because if we put... I mean, we're up to 3 tires now. That means we only need 1 more, and then we got some of the other stuff we got to work on, like spark plugs and things of that nature. We got plenty of guns already. We've got more guns than we can even store at the moment, so I would say that we probably don't want to mess around with that too much. I'm going to leave the bullet here. I really wish that I could pan this downwards and see what was in here. It looks like that's about the edge, so there shouldn't be anything else too interesting down that way. Instead of bringing that along, I'm going to bring the sheet metal, because the sheet metal will be nice for upgrading some things. We got a nail right there. I think I have plenty of circuit breakers right now, so it might be a much better plan to maybe bring along something like either bullets or wood. Yeah, let's bring the bullets for right now. There's a couple more locations we're going to hit, and this loot is going to stay here, so you don't need to worry about it that much. I'm going to confirm it. I do wish we had some more plastics, though. Like, if we run out of gas masks, it is not going to be a fun day for us. That's one of the reasons why I haven't used any of the rope to update this yet. Not only because we have an insufficient amount, but because I might need the rope to get rations and catch animals after this fact. So it's sort of one of those catch-22s where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The ropes are going to be intensely useful if we run out of food and we can't scavenge because we run out of gas masks or whatever else. We got a church out here. Search that location. I think that means they should be on the back 9 of their trip, right? Yep, it's the last place they're hitting. So we hit the shack. Did I forget to put them? I forgot to take them out to the school. That's fine. We saved a little bit of water. Our storage is looking absolutely fantastic anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it that much. Doggy just needs to vent for a little while, so he's coming in. Accept a transmission right there. We got a little bit more food. So I'm okay with that. I like food. Food, I think, would be helpful. Bring in 5 food would be... Especially since we only have 1 transistor right there. I would say that bringing in 14 food, that's a pretty damn good haul. And so because... we got... Okay, so everybody get out of whatever you're doing. And feed the dog. Eat the food. Other dad, jump out of bed, come and eat food. I'm going to leave them locked outside the shelter for a minute until I can get this done. And then I need you also to eat the food. We got a radio transmission coming in. Do we? No, we don't. Hold on, I'm going to wait till everybody eats so that we can actually make use of that 14 food. If we don't, we're going to regret it. There we go. So now we actually have room for 14 food. I don't want to waste anything that the map gives us. If the map bestows upon us its bounties, then, I want to make sure we both have room for it and that we're not wasting it unnecessarily. So food, 14 food right there. Very, very, very good haul. Brought back a bunch of shotgun shells, also a pretty good haul. A little bit of plastic, some batteries, some nails, some tires, and some other little goodies. I think all in all, that was a pretty good trip for us. We brought back a wide assortment of goods. Not like a massive assortment, but I think it's going to be alright. Take a shower real quick. You go ahead and eat of the food that you have given us. Sleep right there. I need you to use the toilet because it looks like you're all nice and full up. For you, mademoiselle, I feel like the shower degrades really, really quickly, so I'm always checking it. I think if you would go through and clean up the house, that would be great. That would make me really, really happy. You go ahead and sleep. I need to keep people on rotating schedules right now to make sure that everything gets done. I hope he finishes using the toilet before it stops raining. It doesn't look like we're contaminated or anything, so we should be all right. Geiger counter-wise, it looks like our radiation is staying very, very low. Could be a good day for us. She's going to sweep that up right there. I thought there was a dog duty, too. You must always pay your dog duties. Oh, she's got to put on a suit to do that. Okay, go put on a suit and we'll add a couple more tires to this thing. We brought back a lot of pieces of the vehicle. I don't know when you start to see some of the other pieces show up, but hopefully it won't be too long because we go through so much food and water, like getting around. And I think the camper also increases the amount of storage that you have. In addition, it never hurts to encase yourself in metal in a dangerous world, like making sure that you're not getting shot in the face by random people deciding to take pot shots at you. Usually pretty smart. Let's make a couple of gas masks right there, and that's going to be the last of our plastics, so that's it. Send a little girl out into the waste to mess around with the vehicle, so let's add some parts to it. And then, in addition, this is probably a really, really good idea to refresh my memory because, frankly, my memory is absolutely terrible. That kind of seems like a dickish thing to say about Frank, though. Like, frankly, that sort of implies that, like, all Franks have bad memory. I'm like, frankly, my memory is terrible. My memory is terrible in a Frank way. Let's see if it puts the tires on here. So we got a couple more tires. We need one more. Then we're going to need a distributor. A clutch cable. That might be tough to come by. A fan belt. Yep. An alternator should be pretty easy. And if you can't find an alternator, you should be able to jimmy rig one from somewhere else. Car batteries should be just about everywhere. However, finding one that fits the seating might be a pain in the ass too. Spark plug shouldn't be too difficult. The alternator, the spark plug, and the tires would be pretty easy, but everything else might be a little bit iffy. The fan bell, the clutch cable, and the spark plug, and the battery would be the ones that I'd just be like, well, damn. We just got to keep an eye open, and if we see it, I guess we see it. If we don't, we don't, but I hate to do this, but let's go in on our last plastic right there. That's going to be it. So now we know that we only have 9 more trips to the surface available. We've got, we've got 5 anti-radiation medication, and we've got 4 gas masks, and that's all that we have left. I mean, we can't really scavenge too far beyond that. I know the developers have addressed that they feel like plastic is far too rare, and so all we can really do is hope that sometime, wow, we have so much water coming in right now. But we really have no reason to have more than 60 right there. I mean, if I put in another water butt, we would have room for 90 water, which would be cool. I mean, that's an extended supply right there. That's definitely a supply so large that you wouldn't have to worry about it for a very, very long time if you kept our current party configuration. Or ideally, it would allow us to get another person, but still. Some medium dust storm. That's a little bit unfortunate. Go ahead and take a shower real quick. I probably should have showered him first, then slept him, but what are you gonna do? We don't really need too much right now, and we know what's on the loot table. So unfortunately, we can make a gun run, and we could run out, we could grab all those guns and bring them back for trade fodder later on, because each of those guns essentially allows us to clear out the trader's inventory if we want to. Or we could just leave it be for right now and save the gas masks for later while sort of just like passively crafting extra stuff around. We have enough for a bookcase finally, which is pretty cool. We also have enough for a... can make a stove. That might be an interesting way to get things done. I don't know how much that helps, but it seems like it might help a little. But I think the books... We don't have any stress to deal with, though, so while I'm never the kind of person to say that we should wait until, you know, we're stuck, I kind of don't want to waste supplies on it. Let's make ourselves... I mean, if we could upgrade this, it would just be so good. If we could get it to tier 3, it'd be utterly fantastic. I think that we got a solar panel, too. Damn, moving up the chain seems like it would just be ridiculously useful, but unfortunately... Yeah, I think gunshots instantly kill people in this game if they don't have armor. Don't quote me on that one, but from the way that the inventory management seems to imply, it seems like the gunshot is pretty good for scaring somebody off. It does a lot of damage, I guess, and a bulletproof vest soaks 1 bullet. So I figure bullets must be pretty damaging if, you know, something you put so many resources into only blocks like 1 or 2 bullets before you go down. We haven't seen our enemies ramp up very much either. Which is the other part. I would really love to get this thing going, but I haven't seen an alternator or anything around. I'm wondering if it goes in order. Like you start with the tires, and as you're like scavenging random locations, as you get done with one thing, it starts to give you a higher chance to spawn the next. Don't know. Don't know at all. For right now, we don't really have that much going on, so I'm just going to speed up time. And it looks like somebody else wants a shower. Does anything need to be repaired right now? The air filters are looking a little... They're not that wrecked up. I prefer to wait on it. Toilet's looking good. The shower actually is looking a little bit messed up. Go ahead and take a shower real quick. We're looking really solid. I think this playthrough... See, I did another playthrough before this one, but it was really, really rocky because I didn't know how the game was played, and I kind of just played really poorly, and we lasted like 30 days, but I played badly. By like day 15, it was very, very apparent that we had had both a bad map that didn't have a whole lot of areas to spawn in, and then on top of that, we ended up just having all kinds of random issues because I scavenged poorly. And so I didn't realize you wanted to make the best use that you can out of your masks because they last for an entire trip. So I would just run out and like grab one thing from a building and come back instead of hitting like 10 buildings at a time and being very, very discerning about the loot that you bring home. He's going to need to sleep pretty soon anyway, so I might as well put him down right now. I try not to use those terms around the dog. He starts to look real nervous, but I think we're just about out of time anyways for this episode. So I'm going to break it off right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me for Sheltered. I will see you all next time. How you doing, everybody?